crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroot.com with your morning hornesies. Your sip of coffee. For those of you who have not taken the silver manipulation quiz at roadroot.com, take it. Some of the questions are very easy. Some of the questions are very difficult. Not all that hard. If you've been in this game long enough, I put this up first 10 years ago. I've tweaked it a little, but I haven't looked at it in like a year. So go to roadroot.com, go to the very top section, the public road, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the silver manipulation quiz. Some easy questions like the first one. Which monetary metal is the most manipulated on a daily basis by the banking cabal? And then I have a list of answers of why this is true. I'll give you the first answer. Take a guess between gold, silver, platinum, and none of the above. It's a silver manipulation quiz. I think you guys know that was a giveaway, the first one. But there's 20 of them, so go check that out. Take the quiz. And also go to the search function right up here at the top. I did a search for silver manipulation. I found 1,136 articles on silver manipulation. I have sent this to the CFTC. And I said, I want whistleblower status. You got to fill out these forms. You have to be an insider. You got to work for JP Morgan and turn state's evidence against JP Morgan to get the big payout of the... Who got the money for the $920 million fine? Who got that money? Ted Butler should have gotten the vast majority of that. Does that go into the coffers of the CFTC? Yeah, we got to start asking the tough questions of these criminals. The criminals on the rigging side and the criminals on the regulatory side in our government. We're looking at the end of government, so I'm very excited about that. And all my Trump loving, I do love Trump. But I don't want the world that Trump is portraying a life of manipulation. We have seen the destruction of the economic system, and yet the banks and the stock market and the cryptos are held down and the silver and gold are held down. How is that possible? It's possible only one way that can be done. Only one way. And I've outlined it at the Road to Ruta. It was the original computer rigging programs written by Alan Greenspan in the 1970s. Yes, Alan Greenspan was the world's best financial computer programmer. He invented electronic money in the late 1960s. That's what Root A is, Road to Ruta. Root A is a programming term in Fortran. Go to roadtoruta.com, study up the world of manipulation. America's the greatest because we have the best economy. We have the best economy because we rig the most markets. That's why we have the best economy. I'm not saying we can't have the best fair economy. We can, and we should, and Trump can do that. But he has not. He gave the reins of market manipulation to a guy named Steve Mnuchin, the head of IT from Goldman Sachs, who was in charge of market manipulation there with computers. A deep state cabal guy. The good thing about the insanity, I do not think there will be another president, by the way. And now I'll get to that in a second. But the insanity of a Biden Treasury Secretary. They're talking about Elizabeth Warren. Do you really think Elizabeth Warren knows how to handle the computer programming and has the connections and ties within the banks to make sure that everybody's doing their job to keep the system up and running? The very minute she takes office, it's over. If Elizabeth Warren is put in charge of this fraudulent monetary system, it's over. So, what is over? I keep thinking back. Maybe this has a bigger plot to it. It's not the Democrats versus the Republicans. It's not Trump versus the bad guys. Maybe it's everybody versus the banking cabal. Maybe China and Russia and the U.S. and all the politicians, the non-criminal ones, which is like 4. Maybe they're doing it all on purpose to destroy the banking cabal, because the banking cabal obviously is very strong. These are the guys that Dick Allgaier says, we can't beat them ever. If we crash the system, which we've done, the system has crashed. The economic system has crashed. But they don't seem to be weakening at all. So we will see. When you can click a mouse and put the price of silver at $2 or $2 billion, you can click a mouse and put Apple Computer at a $10 billion market cap or a zero market cap. When you can click a mouse and do anything you want with derivatives, which they're doing on the COMEX, how do you stop that? You need computer programs. You need dueling computer programs. That's where we're getting to, the lockup of computer market rigging. All right, let's talk about silver really quick. Ted Butler, brilliant man. Butler Research, definitely join. He's not necessarily on board with my theory that it's Virtu Financial, the high-frequency trader. He knows they're in there and a major player. But he thinks still that JP Morgan is controlling the game. And he made a very good point in his post this week that the last rig was very different than usual. And I will show you what he's talking about, not right there, right here. The last rig happened between Wednesday and Tuesday of a reporting week. See, on the COMEX, the big criminals have to report, everybody has to report their positions on Tuesdays. So whatever happens between Wednesday and the next Tuesday is, if you dump 1 billion contracts on the market and then buy them all back, it looks like nothing happened. And that's exactly what it looks like happened in the last week. You've got November 3rd right here, or November 4th, I think, was the Tuesday. Anyway, this is the week from November 4th to the 10th, or 3rd to the 10th. Right in here is the reporting week. As you can see, by the end of the week, everything was back to normal. Remember, JP Morgan got busted, and they were warned, you can't do this again. And what they were doing was spread out over months. That's why the slams last months. This is very, very, very short-term rigging. So they brought it up, got all the weak hands in, and slammed it down, all within the same reporting week. So when they report on Tuesday, it looks exactly the same, like nothing happened. In the meantime, they fleeced all the weak hands by going over the 50-day moving average and then coming back under the 50-day moving average, as you can see here. Where's my moving averages? There they are. It's easier to see on the 1 year. See that? They went over the 50-day moving average and then slammed it down below. This is very short-term thinking by the criminals. JP Morgan. Ted's still convinced it is JP Morgan that runs the whole show. And of course, Ted's right. He's always right. Not always. I think he needs to put more credence in this. How did they do that? We see that it happened, but how did they do it? They did it with this. The intraday volume on November 9th was over 1 billion ounces of electronic silver dumped onto the market to slam it down and then bought back. The CFTC really can't figure this out. I'm the CFTC. It is insane how either stupid or criminally corrupt they are. But Trump is requiring this of them. So I don't know what to tell you. I love Trump, and I absolutely back him up on everything except market rigging. I think if you build a strong economy on a rigged market, there is no future for America. And I hope everybody agrees with me on that. America can't be built on fraud anymore, or you're going to get what we have right now, a system chock full of fraud. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I think that is ending, so we will find out soon enough, obviously, before the next president is crowned, literally crowned. I do want to show you something, and I have something to say again about something that's really interesting. So there's a whole bunch of states that obviously rigged the market, rigged the voting. It's obvious, from the Dominion computer program, voting program owned by Dianne Feinstein's husband, to all the fake ballots, people throwing away Trump ballots, changing everything. Everything, it was all corrupt. It always has been. It was just in your face, blatant. What people are forgetting is that public perception means a lot. So whatever the Democrats want to say, the Democratic Party, if they are caught with massive irregularities because of things that they did, which I think they will be, they already have been, that's going to change the perception. Now, they're going to argue, who cares about the perception? The election's over. You can't steal it. You can't steal it back. You can't steal it from us. De Blasio's daughter actually said Joe Biden stole the election, and then she corrected herself. I'm so happy that Joe Biden stole the election. And she's, But the key is popular vote doesn't matter. Popular vote, that's not how we elect a president. We went through this last time with Trump. But what people aren't talking about is who decides the Electoral College. Can you have a vote that was rigged, and if everybody knows it's rigged, it does, and the vote still stands, what happens to the Electoral College? Who gets to decide? It is the state legislative chambers that decide the president. I hate to tell you. It's not the popular vote. And everybody thinks, oh, it's a popular vote. That's what decides the Electoral College. No, it is individuals. And individuals within the state. So for example, let's talk about Pennsylvania. Huge, massive voting fraud, right? What happens if the state legislator just so happens, they see all the fraud and they're like, this is bullshit. The Democratic Party is evil and corrupt. And what happens is that the legislators get to decide who the Electoral College is, and they're the ones who vote. So you go down to the state and you say, who controls the state legislature of Pennsylvania? Look at that. Republican, 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 Republican. It is in Pennsylvania, which is a key flip state. There's two big ones, Pennsylvania and Georgia. Pennsylvania, if there's any doubt about the election, the state legislature is going to pick an electoral college that are all Republican voters. So it doesn't matter what the vote says. It is the state legislators that choose the president. Crazy, huh? Let's look at Georgia. Georgia's in, clearly criminal goings on in Georgia, but who owns the state legislature? Republicans. Republican. Doesn't matter what the people did. If there's fraud, if there's any kind of inkling that massive fraud took place on the Democrat side, the Republican legislature is going to pick all Republican voters, all Trump voters for the Electoral College. And this goes down through most all of the 10 states that are in question. Not all of them. Nevada. Look at Nevada. Nevada's all Democratic, the state legislature. So the votes for Nevada, there's 6 Electoral College votes. I have no doubt, even if there is massive fraud exposed and proven, the Democratic legislature is still going to vote for Joe Biden. You can kiss Nevada goodbye. That's the way the game is played. But when you look at the big ones, the ones that'll change what's going on, Pennsylvania, Georgia, look at Arizona. Massive fraud in voting in Arizona, but look at the it's all Republican, the state legislature. That's who picks the president. Trump will get in. They're gonna show enough proof to the American people to show that there was a collusion, massive. And how many people are going to turn state's evidence against the Democratic Party that, yes, I did what you claimed. It's all on video right here. I was told by Joe Schmo of the Democratic Party that I was to do this. And to save myself from going to jail for the rest of my life or being charged with treason, I'm going to give you state's evidence about who did it and why. The DOJ has already been activated and is going to be interviewing. If you were one of those people And literally, this took tens of thousands of people. Well, let's say thousands of people, not tens of thousands, but thousands of people to accomplish. Maybe even tens of thousands. How many of them are going to turn to save themselves and their family, which they should, turn in the people who told them to do it? I would say 50%. And all it takes is one. So that's my take on what's going to happen in an election. Here's the timing, key dates. Obviously, Election Day is over. You would think Election Day is over. Pennsylvania is a great example. It is constitutionally illegal to vote after November 3rd. No matter what the state Supreme Court says, it doesn't matter. It goes to the Constitution. What does the Constitution say? After November 3rd, all ballots are in. There's no November 4th or the minute after they were cut. The post office was already cut, changing dates. So all those votes that came in late will be disqualified, and they should be. And that's where they made most of the fraudulent moves. And the computer software stuff, they can change 100 million votes. They can change all 70 million votes with the click of a mouse. And oh, by the way, Joe Biden couldn't get 10 people to a rally, and yet he ended up with the most votes in the history of any president. Come on, give me a break. Anyway, here are the dates. From November 4th, the day after the election, to November 23rd, the deadlines vary by state to receive absentee ballots and overseas ballots. That is wrong. That is wrong. The deadline is November 3rd. That is the deadline. But hey, that's for the Supreme Court to say, and the Supreme Court to say, this is the Constitution. Our hands are tied. We have to follow the Constitution. Even if Pennsylvania Supreme Court said, oh, yeah, it's fine. Turn it in whenever you want, which is a Democratic Supreme Court, state Supreme Court. Anyway, November 5th through the 12th, deadlines vary by state to certify election results. So that's the certification. It'll be interesting to see who certifies what, how many criminals are exposed, how many are arrested. December 14th, state electors cast their ballots. That's it. The state electors cast their ballots. The candidate with 270 or more votes wins. The state electors cast their ballots. Let me say it again. The state electors cast their ballots. In Georgia, who are the state electors? They're all Republicans. In Pennsylvania, who are the state electors? They are all Republicans. In Arizona, who are the state electors? They are all Republicans. I know it sounds crazy, and people are saying, no, it's the popular vote. Word is Biden got maybe 30 million votes. Not the 74 or whatever. And Trump got a lot thrown away, probably 10 million thrown away. He got 80 million votes. Trump got double the amount of the popular vote, which is sad that it's not going to come out. But hey, at the end of the day, we're all screwed anyway. Who wins the bad guys? And unless we take the bad guys out, the banking cabal. Those are the real people who should. All this attention, the left versus the right, Republicans versus Democrats, those aren't the enemy. The enemy are the controllers. Well, the pedophile group, they'll have to be taken care of. But the banking cabal is the enemy. That needs to be taken care of, and that can be taken care of with a powerful computer program run out of the Fed Boston, as a matter of fact. The road to Ruta. That is our hope. So that's where we are. I hope everybody. Oh, what's wrong with that video? I don't even know. For you private road members, lots going on with Theta. Make sure you get your Theta Guardian nodes up and running. I give step-by-step instructions. So much going on with Theta that don't even look at price. You're gonna laugh at the 65 cents or whatever it is right now that you can get it at. And your children, set up your college fund now. Set up a Guardian node. You can send them to Harvard in a couple. Harvard won't be around in a couple years. I think colleges are done. A lot of things are done. This shift over is going to be really weird. And see this motorcycle guy driving into the future here on the top right, my little logo. That's what our world's going to be like. We're going to have to make our own way. Cliff High's data calls it make a way. There will be no more government to help you out. I know it. Oh my God, what are we going to do without government? Talk to Jeff Berwick. He's been screaming about it forever, and he's 100% right. You better get your shit together and know how to live without government. That's all I got to say. This is Bix Weir, roadtoroot.com. Hang in there, I'll talk to you.
Well, you start with Bitcoin and you know nothing. You make your first wallet and you think you got something. Secure your private keys and you don't. All your coins will be gone. Now you're a coiner and it's time to learn all. From banking tech to social net, the cryptos are hard. But you gotta get your feet wet, gotta get your mind set for change. And it's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. There's Kenny Bozak, he'll show up in your town. The fiat in his pocket, always dressed like a clown. But he pulls out his phone, always pays for what he owes in crypto. Big old John Kim erases all Charlie's doom. Satoshi light is feeling right with John in chat rooms. And he takes care of Litecoin, we know it's the right one for change. It's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. Well, let me tell you about my friend. His name is Bitcoin Ben. A truck driving man, everybody loves him. And he's spreading the word, he shares what he heard, secret plan. And there's Snippy by Joe, can't miss the J-Snip show. Cause I confess the treasure chest that goes on the know. He teaches us tech, cause he's seen a few wrecks, so go slow. It's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. Cause everybody wants to be a hero. Everybody has dreams of a better day. But if everybody knew we could change everything that we do, then everybody live a crypto warrior way. And everybody live a crypto warrior way. And you can live a crypto warrior way.
Yeah! That was great.